Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Under the Sportlight. This is a podcast that explores the people who live and breathe professional sport. I'm your host, Phil, and today on the show we're joined by Gaetano Giallanza. He's a Swiss-Italian striker whose journey took him from the pitches of Switzerland to playing in France and England before building himself a respected career as a football agent. His story blends on-field grit with off-field insight into what it takes to manage and shape professional careers. Welcome, Gaetano. How are you?
Hi, Phil. I'm fine. And you?
I'm doing good, thank you. As we're getting started, I wanted to know a little bit more about your childhood. Where did you grow up, and what are your earliest memories of football?
Yes, so my parents are Italian, but I was born in Switzerland, and my childhood was from beginning playing football, from starting from 5 years old, in my hometown, just going to the hometown club, and just enjoying. It was a good childhood. I enjoyed a lot of with my friends, and we were in the same club. So it was really nice and good. And in Switzerland, everything is quite very good organized, and the pictures were fine. So I enjoyed it a lot. Different as a professional.
And who were your biggest influences as a young player growing up? Who did you look up to?
My players I looked up were like all Zidane and all these players when they started. But when I was really young, like Maradona, so these players. But I didn't like really to watch 90 minutes of game. I just liked always to watch the highlights. This is funny. So I don't like to watch. Now it's different, but when I was a kid, I just wanted to watch the goals and the highlights, and then that's it really. And then it was like, the Italian in these days were really for me the number one, with Milan, with Rijkaard, Gullit, Van Basten, so all this Maradona. So this was my time as a childhood where I looked up, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Growing up, can you describe the moment when you realized, I'm actually good at this, I can actually make this a career?
So I just scored goals. So this was for sure something positive, even if as a striker you need to score goals. So I had this, I don't know how to say, you have it or you don't have it. Scoring goals, you cannot learn it. So and I had this chance that I scored a lot of goals as a young kid, and I played also with the older one, and I keep scoring goals. So yes, this was for me for sure something positive, but I never really was thinking, I want to be a professional footballer. But when I was like 14, 15, something changed, and I had a chance to go to a bigger club here in Basel. And then I just realized perhaps I have a small chance to get football players and get the next step. So this was more not like today in these days, everybody wants to be a football player and want to be professional. But when I was a kid, I just enjoyed it, played football. It was different, everything was more, not everything on social medias, on television. So it's completely different. But like I said, with 15, 16, I understand perhaps a change. I changed my mind. If you want to really get there, you need to work hard. So this was a little bit my way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, back in the day, I feel like things were a lot more organic, maybe. And
Yes.
nowadays, kids from a very young age have to already be working really hard to pursue a career in football if they want to become footballers when they grow up. Did your family support you in your decision to pursue a career in football?
Yes. My father, he loved football, so anyway, he came to watch every game, and so he enjoyed it also. But I think he was a great help, and he was also a good mentor to me, and was always there for me. So yes, but the whole family, they love football, so they came to watch games, and they just see my career.
and tell me then the story of how you got that first professional contract. How did that happen?
So what happened? I went to a small club here in Switzerland. It's called Old Boys, but they're playing already in the second division. And I went to the under 21s, and it was quite quickly. I just began to start goals, and then after 6 months, they just asked if I want to go to the first team and get the next step. And then I said yes. And with 17, I played with the team in the second division. Basel was also in the second division at this time, so I played against Basel also. And this was my first contract really here in Basel. And then I finished my school, and with 19 I went into Servette Geneva.
And did you win a lot of trophies then in Switzerland, scoring a lot of goals, or how was your experience playing in Switzerland before you moved abroad?
So I won the league with Servette Geneva, and then it was my really first experience away from home, professional, no school, no work, and I played quite with Sonny Anderson, and there were other players in the national team in Switzerland who were really big names in Switzerland, and this was my first experience. I played a few games, not a lot, and we won the league, so it was really a great experience. And then later I went to Sion, where I won the Swiss Cup, so it was also a good experience. And then I won also the best goal scorer with Young Boys Bern. This was really my three important trophies. And then I went in 97, I went to Nantes when I had my first experience abroad and in France.
When did you decide it was time to go to France? Not too far, but still abroad. When did you decide to go there and play for Nantes?
I think when you start playing, Switzerland is a small country, and I think every player, his aim and his goal is to play one day abroad, because Switzerland, it's good, but at one stage, I think if you're really doing well, you have the chance. And some clubs from abroad comes and ask about you, and perhaps also ask if you want to get the next move. So I was quite doing well at Basel, and then after 2-3 years in Switzerland, everybody wants to make the next move. So I had this chance to go to France. It was not really my direction, because at this stage, I think we are not. I've been not ready to go the next step in 97. It's changed now, everything. But I had this chance, and the club needed money at Basel. And they asked me if I want to move the next step to France and to Nantes. And then I said, okay, I will do this move and see how it goes. And it was not easy to leave Basel, because I had really a good season also, and we had a good team. But football works like that. So you have chances, and then you need to make a decision for the next step. But it still was a very good experience in France with great players, and it's another world really. Abroad from Switzerland is another world.
Yeah, and it's so close too, right? Like I guess my next question would be, in Switzerland, I guess where you were born, did you speak Swiss German
Yes.
in the region where you were? Okay, so there's, as far as I know, there's 3 official languages in Switzerland: Swiss German, French, and Italian. Do you speak Italian as well?
Yeah. So at home I spoke always Italian with my parents, so I speak Italian. And then French, you had in school French because it's the second language. And then you have the German. So there's two types of German. You have really the dialect Swiss German, what is really difficult to understand for the proper German, like in Germany. So at school we speak the German, proper German, but between the French we have this dialect where the German don't understand really. They have difficult to understand it.
Okay, so you already spoke French then when you were going to Nantes, so that wasn't that big of a difficulty for you. Were there any differences in culture from France to Switzerland, within regular culture, but also within football?
So in regular life, yeah, it's changed a little bit because Switzerland, everything is organized. Everything is like everybody knows what to do, and it's also smaller. And Nantes was quite a big city. But in football, yeah, there's a lot of changes. So even the trainings ground, everything was organized. You have your car park. Everything was bigger. You have the doctor every day in. Everything is really high standard and high level at this time already. And then you're playing in big stadium. I played against Paris Saint-Germain, against Monaco, and big clubs like Bordeaux at this time. Was really big. There were Lizarazu and Zidane were playing there. So it's a big difference, yeah, from Switzerland. At this time, it was a big difference. Today, it's a little bit different. The players are ready to go abroad, and the Swiss players doing well. At the time where I was, there were not a lot of Swiss players abroad to play.
So walking into a pitch to play against PSG or Monaco, how did that feel? How did it feel the first time you did that? And then did you ever get used to walking into those really big stadiums?
You used because I played in Switzerland, also in Europa, and then you're playing against certain players where you watch them on TV. But it's for sure when you go to France and then you go Paris Saint-Germain, you're playing against big player at this stage. You say strange. You see them on TV and then they're playing against you. But at the end of the day, they're a normal person. They just want to win the game, and it's just really a battle. And after the game, they're all easy people, and between players, you understand each other. So it's strange at the beginning, but with the time, you just get used. It's just normal. It's just like in these days when you're playing against the big players, Ronaldo, Messi, or Zlatan, and then at the beginning you say, wow, but at the end of the day, they're just normal humans, but they have talents. So you're saying, yes, they have a different level. So you really look at them and say, okay, so it's great to have this chance to play against players like that because you learn from them, from these players.
What was the hardest defender that you played against?
It's difficult to say, but I think I was in England, and then I came on against Chelsea, and I had Leboeuf and Marcel Desailly on the left and right side. And at this stage, they were, I think, one of the best defenders in the world, and they are big and quick. So I think playing against them too was quite not easy.
Yeah, so you just mentioned England. So tell me about that move for you going to England. Did you go straight from France to England?
Yes, I went from France to Bolton Wanderers. I was on loan, and they were fighting to not get down to the championship. And I had this chance, and funny was I had discussion and the manager wanted me, and that I will play, have good chance to play, because when I came to Nantes from Switzerland, it was difficult to adapt because the players were better. In Switzerland, we are not, or it's not the same level like today, the trainings and everything. So in these days now, the players are really ready to make the next move abroad. But 97, I need to say I had very difficult to adapt because the players were quicker, technical, everything was really fast. So you need time to adapt. So it was difficult to play in Nantes. And then I had this chance to go to Bolton Wanderers, and I say, listen, why not? I'm not playing here, so it's difficult. So I get this step, Premier League, and the manager said, you will play, you have good chance to play. So I say, okay, I will take it. And then I did the move, and then there were another 4 strikers who came in. So it was difficult. So I had a few appearances, but like it said, he wanted not to go down. So he just convinced every player to come there and get it. But it was a good experience also because playing Premier League, I played against Aston Villa and Chelsea, and where also Premier League for me is always one of the biggest league in Europe, and it was really a good experience. But it was difficult, different football than France, but it was really good. I liked it also in England, how they live, how they are. They love football. They have a passion for football, is unbelievable. So I just went on loan, and then I went back to Nantes because I had another 3 years contract after.
So did going then for a short period of time to England change in any way the way you approached the game?
No, not really, because you see it when you go in one of these 5 top leagues, like Italy, France, or Spain, Germany, and England, you see the difference. So these are the best 5 leagues. Then we can discuss which one is the best one, but they're all similar. Just the football is a little bit different, but it's all similar. So it's a change, because football in England, it's quick and it's hard, and in France is really technical, also hard, but not so quick. But I think France is one of the one of the league who is more difficult to play of the 5. And like I said, after you get used to it, you need to adapt. You never know how it will go. When you make a change, you don't know. The manager comes, the director of sports speaks to you and say, "I'll see you there. We want you. I think you can improve our team." But at the end of the day, you never know what's happened after. If you will play, you don't play. You can't adapt because language, family, it's a lot of changes of the way you need to adapt.
And there's injuries too, right? Did you have any major injuries playing in those years?
Yes. I had a big injuries when I went to Norwich. And then after 2 months, 3 months, I get my cruciate ligaments. So it was really difficult, a hard time, but I had a problem with the operation. So I was out another 24 months. It was a difficult time. So I had also this experience about being injured. And at the end of the day, you say, okay, it's good, because it's also to learn after football, how it is when you're not playing anymore. You see the people, they don't have interest anymore in you. They had only interest in you because you were a footballer before. And when you're not playing anymore, they don't care. So you see how football is really, But at the end of the day, behind every player is a human, is a guy who suffers and is not happy when he's playing. When he's playing, he's happy. Everybody comes and say, "You're the best." And 2 weeks later, when you have a bad game, they want you out. So this is how a player needs. It's really mentally also. You need to be strong mentally also.
So at that time, when you're going through this recovery, were you already thinking then? You said 24 months, right? You had a long time to think. Did you already start thinking about life after football, or just trying to get back on the pitch?
Yes. So really was like I was out 24, I get another operation, and then I had another 8 months. So it was like more than 2.5 years I was out. A lot of people and my family also came and said, why you keep going? Because it's really difficult, and they didn't understand really. And I had one dream to get back on this pitch, this green pitch. I worked hard every day, and people saying it's difficult. And after my contract finished, after the 2 years, they said, we cannot give you a new contract, even if you would like, but you were out now 2 years. Difficult. So I went back home in Switzerland, and I had this operation again to clean the knee, everything. And then I just started here in a small club to train in a second league club. And I just waited until I'm really 100% fit, and then asked Young Boys Bern if they needed a striker, and I told them I will come for free, playing for free, just take me. And we're in a good position in the Super League, so in the first league. And then they said, okay, You come and train and see how it goes. And then I had this chance to get in, because it's not difficult to find solution after so long that you're injured. And it was a good start. And this was really a difficult time for me mentally, and a lot of people or friends and family who said, you really want to keep going, and what's the point? But I just kept going, and at the end of the day, I played. After the second game, I scored, and it was nice to be back on the pitch. And it was never like before, because with the leg I had, or with the knee, was always had difficult to get it back. But at the end of the day, I just believed in myself, and I just kept going, and I was happy to reach again playing football.
Well, how do you keep that mentality, that strong mentality, in the 2.5, almost 3 years that you're out?
I don't know. I think it's just inside you. It's just you keep going because you have a passion and you have a goal. And I think score a goal as a striker is it's a sensation that you cannot pay with money or with something else. So I just wanted this feeling back. It's why I just kept going. And I was lucky that I could play again. But anyway, I think you need to always to give the best. This is a little bit what I want. Never give up and keep going. If at one stage it didn't work, okay, at least you tried everything. So, and I think in football, injuries or not injuries or hard time, you need to keep going, and only really the players who are mentally strong will go really far. All the others, they were struggling with the football, because there's a lot of problems with around and inside the football. Like you're saying, you're playing when you're good, you're not playing, so you need to keep going. Discipline, motivation, it can change really quick.
Well, and then tell me about how you became an agent after that. So when did you start thinking about the next steps after retiring?
So at my last station in Darlington, and it was a League Two, so fourth division. But I finished in Switzerland, and I said, Switzerland. And if I have this chance to go to England and play, and the manager wanted me really, and he wanted to go up. He said, "Come have a look," and it was a great stadium, new stadium. And I say, "Okay, I will do it." I loved England, and I say, "I will do 1 year more and then see how it goes." The year was okay, but I just see that the knee is not the same anymore. Then they sacked him, the manager, and then I just started to do what I'm doing now, because yes, I can keep going and playing football in Switzerland on a smaller club or something, but this is not what I want. So the manager came back to me in England. I just asked if I want to be a scout for him, because he's going in the agent business. And then I said, okay, I can think about it. I want to stay in football. There were two directions for me: be a manager. And if you want to be a manager, I wanted to do it really properly. So I need a club behind me who gives me this opportunity to start with the under 15s, under 16s in a club who has also professional structure. And in Switzerland, you have only 10 teams like that. So it's not easy to get in. The other possibility was as an agent. And my manager in England, he just said, we can, if you want to do a scout, you can scouting in Switzerland, and then you come every month to England for 1 week, 10 days, and we work for me and try to get this up. So I decided to do this way. And I went in the direction to be an agent, and I started as a scout, watching a lot of games at the weekend, under 14s, 15s, 16s, and we brought also 1 or 2 players to England. And it was also nice. It was a good experience to me to get in like that. I had the time, and at this stage, it was completely different also. When I started in 2000, it was 2008. 2007, 2008, I started to do scouting. There were no platform where you can watch the players like Y Scout and all that. So we needed to record the the games and then cut it and then send the DVDs to the clubs. So this is how it works at this stage. Now it's different completely. You just send the name and then they come back. So yeah, it's a completely other work, and it's changed a lot in the last few years in a good way, but also in a bad way, because you look a lot of analytics. You look a lot of analyze the player, but at the end of the day, you need to watch the player, how he plays, the character of the player. It's important to mix a good characters of players to get a team who will perform. Because if you have only very good players and quality players, it won't work. You need to have a good mix of players.
How do you get started? How do you sign your first client? How do you find someone and say, hey, I want you to be my client? And how do you then convince them to work with you that are just starting?
Yeah, when I started, because I left after this English company because it was difficult to get players, because you have the company in England, you're working here. So I just did my own company. And then because I knew already a few players, and also I watched a lot of Swiss football in the under 15, 16s. I just started to get to the players and the parents and just have a talk with them and see where I come from and what I'm doing, and don't convince them that I'm the right man to help the player and to get a professional career. So I started really with 1 or 2 players, and these two, 3 players, I worked with them for 15 years. So it was nice. Now in these days, it's a little bit more difficult to work so long with players, because it's a different mentality and everything goes very quick. If it doesn't work, they change agent. But I think my first 2 players, I worked the whole career with them. And this was a nice experience also, that you had some players like that. They're really loyal and correct to you. And even if they have different opportunity with other agents, they always stayed with me. And this is nice in this business, because it's getting really hard now to keep the player happy.
So how do you keep a player happy?
If he plays, he's happy. So it doesn't depend from my
Doesn't
side.
depend on you.
No, it does depend. It does depend on me, but I'm sure if he doesn't play and it goes bad, it's my fault. No,
Right.
it's difficult. It's difficult because I understand the player side, because I was a player. But sometimes you need to ask yourself also why I'm not playing. And these questions, a lot of players, they really don't want to answer really. And there's a lot of players, they giving the fault to the manager, to the club, and to the agent. But at the end of the day, you need to know exactly why you're not playing, what you can do to be better, what you can do to play. And if there is really a problem and you don't go the next step, then we need to find a solution for him. That is what I'm saying always. And this is very important for me, that they understand. I want also that they make you that they question why I'm not playing, what I need to do. I need to do more. And there is some difficult times for players where they're not playing. Suddenly the manager don't speak to him anymore, what I need to do. But this is football also. This is a part of football where you need to go and work hard, be disciplined, and waiting for your chance. And when you have your chance, you need to take it again.
And then I'm sure every player is different as well, personality wise. How do you balance that ambition that players have of, playing a better team or being a starter with realistic career planning? So this is what you should do. This is the best move for you right now. Don't go too far, too fast, etc.
Absolutely. It depends the character of the character of the players. So my side is just really to guide him and to be realistic and just also speak to him. Listen, I think the next move is that, or at the moment you need just to get in the team, playing here, get experience, be one of the best player in the team, and then we can do the next step. And then I can tell him, I think Germany or Italy or England is the best league for you to get really the next step. And if there is a club, we sit together and then see if you're also happy to do the next step. But at the end of the day, I always say the player need to make the decisions, not me. I can only suggest him and tell him, listen, this would be my step or my next step. And then at the end of the day, he needs to be happy to do it because he's playing on the pitch. He needs to know that he needs to go in this club, train every day with this manager. And this is very important for me that he makes his decision. I can only suggest him, this would be my next move. We have a career plan. We're sitting together and say, this is our goals, where we want to go. But it's difficult that we really, like we discussed it, it will come like that because football, like you saying, 4 years contract and after 2 years you leave because you're doing well and they have a good club, or you leave because you're not playing. So I don't think I ever finished my contract to get as a free agent. There's some players now, they just is more and more players with free agents players. But if you're really doing well or you're doing your career, I think it's difficult to respect the contracts. You respect the contracts, but you don't respect the timeline. You don't respect it because there is so many influence as a football player where you say you're doing well and then you want to go to a bigger team. If you're doing well, it's normal that you want to do a next step and then you do it better. When you're not, like I said before, when you're not playing, you need to have play minutes. So you need to go to a lower club to get, again, 2 steps forward. Sometimes you need to make a step back to get 2 steps forward. And not everybody understands it and not everybody wants to do it. And it's where then it's difficult for me that the player stucks and it comes in a difficult discussion where after he thinks, I don't think like my manager or my agent, and then they change agent also. So this is also part of my side where I need to accept that sometimes it doesn't go like I want. And this is like as a footballer, you want to play, so you will give everything, but the decision is the manager, and you need to really show him that you want to play and be an important player. And as an agent, it's a little bit the same. But it's just like, I think the agent is not easy because it's the more easiest to exchange. Because the club, he has a contract and the manager is there. So when they're not happy, sometimes these are the discussion between a player and an agent, what we're doing the next step. And when you're not playing, the problem is that it's difficult to find a new club who gives you the opportunity to get back. So you need to look really around where you find the solution for the player to get it back on the track.
So that's a good question then, because you were talking about your relationship with the players. Switching it up a little bit to your relationship with the clubs, how do you keep a good network of clubs that you have a good relationship with? And how do you approach new clubs? Say you have a player who's not playing or who's playing well and, deserves a move to a different club. How do you help them make that contact and bridge that gap in between the player and the new club?
So I have my networking where I know exactly I can give them a call to the director of sport or to the manager because I played with them, and then ask just the situation if they really need one. But before I'm doing this, I will analyze the player and analyze the club and see if they really want a player and if they really need a player and if is the player also good enough. Because if I give them a player who is not good enough, the club will say, listen, for all respect, for all respect, but the play is not good enough for us. So I don't have really time because they have a lot of phone calls from other agents, and they are proposing players. So for me, this is really important that when I give a player, when I talk to a club, that the player is good enough. So I need to analyze this before, and when I'm ready, I just speak to the player also. So tell him my plans and everything, and then really say, okay, this is my next step, and I want to speak to this and this club. I will speak to the clubs I know where I have my experience, but sometimes there are clubs also where I know they're looking for this type of player, for this type of position. And then through my network, I will get the numbers or send them an email, and I will get a feedback if they really like it or not. If they don't respond, it means they're not really have interested. So I have
Didn't
this
like it.
experience, so I don't like it. But sometimes also I work with other agents where they have a better network to the club. I have no problem with them. Where I know the agent works, he has a good reputation, he works well. So I have no problem with that because the aim of me is to find a solution for the player.
So it sounds like you're looking at it from all different perspectives. You know, you're looking at it from the player's perspective. You're also looking at it from the club's perspective. You don't want the club to sign your player and then afterwards saying it wasn't the right fit. And then next time you need another player to go to that club, they're not going to give you that same sort of opportunity. It sounds like a lot of work. So looking at it from your perspective now as an agent, how do you define success in your career now compared to back in the day when you were playing and all you wanted to do was be on the pitch and scoring goals?
Yeah, it's a little bit different because when I was playing, it was my aim to really do the maximum. And when I'm on the pitch, I have everything under control. Because this is my motivation to work on it, to do more than the others. And if I've got my chance to play, I can show him. In these days, I depend of the player. That he trusts me, gives me confidence that even when it's not going well, that he keeps working with me. But I'm a little bit, I need his that he stays with me, that he works that he works with me, because if not, he just say, okay, I don't need you anymore, or I want to change an agent. So it doesn't depend everything from me. As a player, even if the manager doesn't start you the game, but you play 10 minutes, 20 minutes, I have still a chance. So a little bit different, a little bit. This is the biggest difference. And the players in this day, there are a lot of influences from the parents, friends, and mentors, where they're saying, "Oh, is this the right agent?" or "You don't do the right move," or so it's a little bit difficult. And this is also because you have 10 to 15 years career, really, and you need to make the maximum out of it. So there are a lot of under pressure. And I think where it's very difficult for the player is the mental, because he's making himself pressure. Because if he's not playing, he's not getting the next club, he's not getting more money, he's not getting to the club where he wishes to go, or just do his dreams. So they have a lot of pressure on himself. But at the end of the day, I think you just need to enjoy the game, give everything, and the rest will come on his own.
Amazing. Well, as we're getting ready to land the plane here, so to speak, I wanted to know a little bit more about your life outside of football. So, what do you do when Gaetano, at the end of the day, goes home after a hard day at work? What do you like to do outside of work?
So sometimes difficult because the players, they're calling in the evening and everything. No, but I'm going home, look after my kids. I got 2 kids, so and then if I've got time, I go also train for myself, just to keep in shape. But not only for the shape. For me, it's more important for mentally. I think it helps me a lot get also I've got also pressure from my side because the player making also pressure. They want a new club and everything, and you try really to stay calm and try to find solution. So it's good for me also just to relax a little bit and perhaps go training and or just enjoying a nice meal with the family. I try to do a lot of things because I'm not a lot of at home also. So I need to have a good balance with the family, and sometimes see some friends, have a nice lunch or something. But at the end of the day, really just normal life, how everybody else who's working and they just want to change the minds a little bit and just relax and enjoy this moment. I just learned in life, I think, happiness or is just enjoy the moments and the times you have, because you never know what's happened the next day. So really try to do my best, like I did it as a footballer, now as an agent, as a family in the family, also do my best that everybody is happy, and then hopefully that the people around me are happy and see it, and then just enjoy life, because at the end of the day it goes quick. If I think now it is 30 years behind me playing football, and time goes so quick. So I think you need really also to enjoy when you have success, that a player is doing well. I'm really happy for him, and it's really a nice moment. Or when you're signing a contract, these are the moments where I say, okay, I help the player to get there where he wants. He's doing the big work. I'm just behind him. But I know we did it together, and this is a nice feeling where you say, okay, he's happy. He had a dream, and he could realize his dream playing football in a big team, or also just be a professional football player. And the rest in my private time is that my family is happy with me, and they take what they can and just enjoy the moments when we are together.
Do you still play for fun, or is the knee not allowing you to anymore?
It's okay. I've got after 2 weeks pain, but sometimes young boys have a team with legends or older players, and they organize some games during the year, and it's nice. And sometimes I'm going. They just and then you see your old players or your friends, and it's fun. We have the game, we have a meal after, and we just enjoy playing together. But when we play against team who are a little bit younger, we've got no chance. But we're playing still better football than them, but you're not getting younger.
Yeah, you got to be smarter. The older you get, you have to be smarter because you're not as fast anymore, eh?
Even if you're smarter and they're quicker, it will getting difficult.
You have to be a lot smarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Do your kids play football, and are you preparing them for a career in football as well? Or?
Yeah, they play football. They enjoy it. They're both good players. The one is really, he has something. But like I say, just enjoy, give everything, and then we'll see what's happened. If I can open some door, I'm doing it. But I'm also, if I think you're not good enough, I will tell you. So there's no point. But I think they're doing well and they're happy. I think always, like, it changed a little bit when I was like, we started to talking at the beginning. When I was starting playing football as a kid, it was just enjoying, Now the kids are ready. They want to be players, and they're doing the same like on TV with the big players, and they want the nicest shoes and everything. And this was it was not important for us in my time. Just enjoying football and be with the friends and doing well. And now it's everything. It's a little bit already with the young kids. They have already pressure, and the parents doing pressure on them that you can be a good footballer. You have something better than the others. But you need to understand every age you're changing. So it's why you cannot say if you're 7, 8, you're the best player on the pitch. 10 years after, we don't know if you can be a professional footballer or something like that. It's very difficult.
What's the next step for you now in your career as a football agent? Where you're looking up to as a goal in the future?
But I think my goal is quite easy. I just enjoying working with players and to realize the dreams they have. The first dream is to get football a professional, and then I think in Switzerland they want to go and play abroad in one of these 5 big leagues, and I just try to help them, to give them advice on anything they need, and it's also a nice friendship between me and the players. So this is really what I want, and just make them happy. And if they're happy, I'm happy. And I love football; it's a passion of me. I love always like to go and watch the games, and it's nice how they progress, you know. And there's also some difficult times, but I think this is in the direction I would like to go, and just keep going and try to be a good agent, because in these days it's difficult because there's a lot of big agencies. They have a lot of players, so not easy. Because some players make decisions where to go or with who to work. But I think the players I think they enjoy it. And, you know, football is really quick, so they make a lot of changes, and you just need to accept and keep going.
Well, Gaetano, I want to thank you again. But before I let you go, I just have one last thing that I wanted to do. We have this segment here on the show. It's called Quick Fire. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a choice between 2 things, and you have to pick one, okay? So this is quick fire.
It's quick fire time!
Would you prefer to score early or score late into the game?
Late.
Scoring the winner or assisting the winner?
Scoring the winner.
Early morning or late night?
No, early morning.
Fast counter-attack or slow possession play?
Fast. As a striker, fast.
Just get it done with.
Yeah.
Get it over with. Black boots or bright colorway?
No, black boots.
I had a feeling you would say that. Texting or phone calls?
Phone calls.
City life or quiet small town?
No, quite small town.
Play in the summer heat or in the winter cold?
No, summer heat.
Planning ahead or going with the flow?
No. The first one.
Planning.
Yeah.
As an agent, especially, you gotta be able to play to plan ahead.
Yes, exactly.
Taking risks or safe decisions?
I'm taking risk.
Player or agent?
Oof, that's a difficult one. Eh? Both. Be a player than an agent.
Nice.
But really, I would say player. Honestly.
Okay.
Player.
Okay. That's the fun part, eh? Playing and just having fun.
It's different.
On the pitch.
It's different. It's difficult, but I think the sensation and the feelings you got on playing, it's different as an agent, but also as a person, because playing in front of 30,000-40,000 and score a goal and winning goal, like you said before, it's you can't pay that. It's unbelievable feelings to get it, and I'm really happy that I had this chance to have it.
That's amazing. Well, Gaetano, that's all I have for today. So seriously, thank you again for coming on the show, sharing your story, your perspectives on football. I do appreciate your time. Okay. And, if anyone wants to follow you or know what you're up to, how do they find out about you?
Thank you very much. Yeah. Honestly, I've got the website. You can follow me on the internet site, on the Instagram. I just want to keep it simple. And if there is any possibility to help any players or something, they can write me or even send me a WhatsApp. I think they will find everything on Giallanza Sport. They have everything on the website or on the Instagram, and I'm happy to help players who need help, who wants to get this next step.
Amazing. Thank you so much again. And to everyone listening, thank you so much also for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on Under the Sportlight.